Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the CEO and good friend of Himlane, Dana. How you doing, Dana?
I'm great. Thanks, Michael.
So I see that you have released some new functionality that is going to hopefully save landlords a lot of money, which I think is pretty cool. You've basically rolled out the ability to start some troubleshooting, which again will save landlords a lot of money, I think. So what is it? Why'd you do it? And then let's see it.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background. 7% of requests that come through our system are easy troubleshooting in the sense that a tenant could have flipped a breaker. They could have set the reset button on their garbage disposal.
Yeah, push.
There's certain things and that, it wastes the landlord's time to have to go through and ask the questions to the tenant, number one. And two, there's a risk with especially first-time landlords who want, the ones who really want their tenants to know they're running a professional shop, to be like, I'm going to send out a licensed plumber right now for this. And and doing the troubleshooting first is important. So how we used to do it was after the request was submitted, we would do troubleshooting. Now we've pushed that up while they're submitting the request, we do troubleshooting. And we still document it. So even if they go through the troubleshooting process and it solves the problem is resolved, that's still fine. We're still going to log it in the system because again, data is really important in the sense of, hey, is there a history of this breaker always tripping or whatever it is? So that's still important, but it's how do we make sure the tenants have tried those quick fixes up front that are not a safety problem. Like you're not asking a tenant to get on a ladder and clean the gutters, right? Like there's none of that. It's very simple things that anyone can do that will make one, the tenant happier because their problem solved without having to have anyone come out on site. And two, makes you happy because it saves you time and automates you out of that. So that is troubleshooting, which we just launched yesterday. So I am excited to show it to you. So let me just go ahead and jump in here and share my screen. So right now you'll see I'm on my dashboard, but maintenance and repair, and it's a lot easier for the tenant because their dashboard just says like submit a repair request and they walk through the process. But just as a friendly reminder, we have all your requests here that you have. You have open and closed, so you can see the history. We have your service professionals in here, so all the people who are your preferred service professionals, and then instructions of how to basically handle the requests. And we have dispatch preferences. You want Paul's Plumbing out first, and how you want things handled, but we'll also ask questions like, where's the breaker box located? Where's the water shutoff location? Certain things, because a lot of times, like especially tenants who are like 22 years old, you say breaker box and they say, I don't know what that is. Right? And so we do have all of this in here and then kind of build that into troubleshooting and then understanding, what tenants are responsible for recurring services. So that's just a quick reminder of that. But when I go into requests, these are my requests that have been opened. When I click new request, you can go through and select the property and it walks you through it. But let me just show you how that works. So if I have my property here and I say it's an electrical problem here, so you'll see electrical, the light's flickering, the light flickers and it turns on and off. I cannot figure it out. This is pretty standard. A tenant is going to put in a request that like, hey, I have no idea. Like, I need to know a lot more about this. Where is the light flickering? So when you click next, you're going to see troubleshooting. And we basically go through and say, please tell us what best describes it. So I would say light fixture, ceiling fan, not working. Click on that. We're sorry to hear that. Where is it? Bedroom, right?
Look at this.
No worries. We're going to want to let you know, make sure you didn't trip a breaker. Please locate your breaker box and reset. And if you have your breaker box, we'll tell you where that is. So we have all of that built in and it says like, you can say, no, this did not resolve my issue or issue resolved and go through those steps. And then we'll continue to say, okay, next thing is to make sure that it's not just a burnt bulb. Did you replace it? And so we continue to go through these steps and we do it for, all the categories we have. And every time we have a new request that we could troubleshoot, we're learning from what tenants are putting in and we're bringing it up front to the troubleshooting. So it's the same here. Plumbing, a leak. it's a leak underneath the sink. We're going to show photos of like turning off the valves and things. So, and there's videos that we're uploading into here as well, because a lot of times tenants are visual. If you tell them breaker box, they're like, what does that look like? You know?
Yeah.
And so building in videos and photos to basically walk you through this process, and that will save you as a landlord a ton of time and make tenants a lot happier too, because they can resolve the problem up front without getting someone out there. And, you know, there's these ones that are like very standard I'm showing you, but so far as like doorbells and, you know, doorbells not working, and just continuing to build up that data, so that even if you only have one property, you can leverage all of the data and all the requests that every tenant has ever put into a property and use that troubleshooting. And it's a balance. We want to make it super easy for the tenant, like they're just clicking on things, so it's easy for them to get to, while also making it where it helps you by saving time with the troubleshooting.
Yeah, this is going to be very helpful. And I'm thinking back to an 18-unit building I bought over a decade ago. We did an audit, like we always talk about. We look at the books, and we noticed that we spent over $1,000 over a year, essentially replacing light bulbs.
Wow.
Yeah.
$1,000 for 18
because it's
units?
because it's a service call. It was like
every service call.
I want to say it was $60 a service call, and then they got that, and then So what we did in that case, obviously, is we changed up the lease to make sure that everybody realized that. I guess the last landlord replaced it all the time, and they got used to it, I guess. So what we did ultimately, because it was over 18 units, or it was 18, it was over 16 units, we had it on site. So what did we do? We ended up buying a whole bunch of light bulbs and putting it in the storage so that the on site could change them. That we were already paying for the on site, so why are we calling an electrician to change the light bulb? So that was stuff like this is just. That's why I think this troubleshooting is great. Even if you just solve 7%, that is real money.
And it will also detect what's an emergency, because if you ask a tenant, especially me, as like when I used to be a tenant, everything was an emergency. Everything needed to be done tomorrow. Like I side with tenants on that. But you know, if there's something like there's a leak and they can't shut it off, sending out a service call at night makes no sense. If you have two sinks, and you could turn off the valve there, make sure, or two toilets, plumbing is much more, with toilets, you see that much more often. It's like, can't you just shut that one off? Let's get someone out on a regular service call that's not double the price. And you set those expectations up front, like while they're submitting their requests, then they know. But the problem is, it's kind of opaque when you like send text messages and emails, and like they get back
because everything's
into it, and then you're going back and forth on email threads, and you're having to check your phone constantly versus getting everything up front when they are submitting that request. So anyways, more to come with it. We're just continuing to build into it.
I think this is genius, because again, doing this for the next year, you're going to just have more and more things there, and you'll go from 7% to 9% to 11%. In essence, you're not only saving landlords money, but you are once again in the service business. You're making that relationship between the tenant and the landlord that much more smooth and seamless. So I think everybody wins with troubleshooting. So great work.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much.
And just so I'm clear, if people are doing a 30-day trial now, they get this functionality, right? They can play with it.
Yeah, they can play around with it and do all their own troubleshooting. It's funny. I even do it. Some of the more complex things with like even my primary residents of just go through. I don't.
Let's see what happens.
Just see what happens here. And when I have something on my end. So the repair coordination team has been doing this for 20 plus years. Some of them, they just know exactly, hey, this is. I can detect that this is exactly what it is, and here's how we can solve this, or mitigate risk and get someone out tomorrow, or whatever it is. That's awesome. And so, we're super excited about it.
Oh, it's a genius idea. Very well done, folks. Again, you want to get the 30-day trial, hemlane.com, mention one rental at a time, or Michael Zuber, get a discount if you want the service. But regardless, lots of you push me to learn more, do more. And I keep talking about a buy box and learn your market. So if you have more time, sign up for the trial, go through the PDF and the free course, or watch the video series, and go pretend to be a landlord for 30 days. Go have some fun. Thanks, Dana.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael.